Hello, you're welcome to the lesson of today. Today we are considering the subject Basic Science and Technology, and our emphasis is on PHE, that's Physical and Health Education. And in Physical and Health Education today we are considering the topic football, and we'll be looking at the history, the equipment, and then the skills that are needed in football. As you can see on the screen, there's a picture of a football on the screen. My name is Ms. Adegoke. You're welcome to this class. Football. What is football? Before we read from the screen what football is, let me tell you that at the end of this lesson, you are expected to define football and then mention the history, or you explain in your own words the history of football. You are to list the features of a football field and mention some equipment that we use in the game of football. So I start with what we have on the screen. What is football? What is football? A lot of children like to play football, especially boys. They like to run around and make sure that the ball gets into the net of their opponent. Everybody loves football. Even sometimes people that don't actually play, they watch on TV. Everybody likes football. What is football? Football is a game in which two opposing teams, there's a team on one side, then there's another team on the other side. Two opposing teams of 11 players each defend goals at opposite ends of a field, having goalposts at each end, with points being scored chiefly by carrying the ball across the opponent's goal line and by place kicking or drop kicking the ball over the crossbar between the opponent's goalposts. What do I mean? We have two opposite ends. Then the people on this side, the players on this side, they want to score into the goalpost that we have here. The same thing, the players on this other side too, their aim is to score into the goalpost at this other end. That is what football is. And then they defend, they dribble, just to make sure that the ball, just one ball, just to make sure that the ball gets into the net of the opponent. Now let's look at a brief history of football. Yes, the English call it football, while the Americans call it soccer. Any one of them is correct. Now, the game was brought to Nigeria in the early 19th century by colonial masters and sailors who played it for recreation. Before Nigeria was in slavery, and then the white people came and then they enslaved the people of Africa and Nigeria too. And then while they came into the country with the sailors too, who sail on ships, they brought in this game for recreation, that is to ease stress and then to make themselves happy after their day's job. Okay, now we look at the features of a football field. What are the features? What are the things you see on a football field? Take note that the standard soccer pitch is rectangular in shape. As you can see, we have two short sides, and then we have two long. Okay, that's two long sides. Now, a standard soccer pitch is rectangular in shape and should measure 110 meter long. That's the length, 110 meter long. And then 75 meter wide. This area here is 75 meter wide. Now the field is divided into two by the center, as you can see, and there's a center line there, and then where the center circle of 9.15 radius is located, as you can see the center circle there. Now we have some basic features of a football field. There must be the touch lines. There must be the halfway or the center line. We have the goal lines, from where the goals will be counted. We have the center circle or the penalty arc. Okay, then we have the goal area. The goal area, where the keeper stays, the goal area. Then we have the goal post. That's where the ball lands into for there to be a score. And then we have the flag post and corner flags. Now, what are the equipment of football? You want to play the football game, what are the things we need? The equipment of football. Number one, we need the ball itself, as you can see on the screen. This is a picture of a football. We need the jerseys, that is, the dresses that the players put on. We need the shirts. We need the soccer boots. We need the hand gloves, the socks, or called hose. We need the shin guard to protect the shin. We need the stopwatch. The referee uses that. We need the whistle. We need the flags. Then the referee's card. The referee has yellow card and red card, depending on the offense of the players. Now let's look at some of the skills and techniques in football. What are the skills? The things you must do. We have kicking. Of course, you must kick the ball. Passing, to your teammate. We have dribbling, that is trying to wrestle the ball away from an opponent. Then we have throwing. Sometimes they throw, though it is football, you have to use your feet, but sometimes they throw, especially after a minor offense has been committed. Then we have heading. Then we have goalkeeping, that is making sure the ball does not enter into the net, and that is the duty of the goalkeeper. Now, a team in football consists of 11 players. Take note of that. 11 players and 5 to 7 substitutes. Well, who are the substitutes? In case a player sustains injury, it's the substitute that will replace the player. Now, listen to this. However, only 3 substitutes are allowed during the game. During the game, only 3 can be used. If anything happens, after 3 people have been used, no other person can replace anyone again. Now, the game is played by 2 teams. Of course, we've mentioned that. A team here, a team there, 2 teams. And then the teams try to gain possession of the ball and score goals. You see, all the players keep running just to make sure that they are in possession of the ball. Now, the game is divided into 2 equal periods of 45 minutes each and half-time interval, not more than or not exceeding 15 minutes. Yes, the game of football, there is first half, there is second half. After first half, there is break. Then the players quickly refresh themselves and then they get back for the second half of the game. Now, take note that the game of football has rules and regulations. That's what the players and also their coaches must abide by. So we come to these questions to test our knowledge. Number 1, what is football? In your own words. Number 2, mention some features of a football field. And number 3, list the equipment of football. In conclusion, like we said earlier on, football is a game in which 2 opposing teams, that's what makes it interesting. The 2 teams, one wants to win the other team. So they are always opposing. 2 opposing teams of 11 players each defend goals at opposite ends of a field, and the field is having goalposts at each end, and with points being scored chiefly by carrying the ball across the opponent's goal line and by place kicking or drop kicking the ball over the crossbar between the opponent's goal posts. For you to score, you must go away from your own side of the field and get into the other side, your opponent's side, and make sure that the ball gets into their net. Of course, they won't want your ball to get into their net. They will defend, but you have to apply skills and techniques to make sure that the ball gets into their net. Thank you. Have a lovely day.